8:29 on a Wednesday morning here on the Michigan Insider.
29, great number.
It is. We're joined by Marcus Ray, MRay29, and we spent some time talking offense before the break, and now it's time to switch over to the defense. And you know, both sides deserve, and we've talked about this all, you know, up to this point, Marcus. You know, offense, defense, both draw their appropriate share of the blame. When you get beaten 31-0, same thing, coaches and players. And yet, Marcus, I found myself looking at the defensive side of the ball and saying, I think that the onus was upon the defense in this game because of the developmental stage that the offense is at, to kind of prop them up a little bit more. And they just weren't able. They were not able to do that in this contest. And give Notre Dame credit first and foremost, Marcus, but then there are some things I think on the Michigan side that they did to themselves. I'm curious what your take was.
Well, number one, Michigan was able to stop the run pretty good. Now, early on in the game, I think the running game hurt Michigan because they got some crucial third downs and to keep the chains moving. And I don't think Michigan was able to, stop Notre Dame from being in short yardage. And
they
that's
weren't.
kind of
just to give you the stat, Marcus. 9 of Notre Dame's 15 third downs were less than 5 yards.
Yeah, so that means that you're getting beat. That they're getting positive yards on first and or second down, and that's what happens. It's tough to play defense from anything third 5, with really third and 4 on down. I'm not going, but more importantly, when it's 3rd and 2, like it was on the first couple of drives, first couple of third downs, it was really short. Michigan's defense stepped up because, they did a good job in the run. Now, here's the problem. When you can't get to the quarterback or you don't create turnovers, all right, it's going to be hard to stop people. And let's be honest. Just like whoever else, Michigan State played against a great quarterback. When you play against a great quarterback, a great one, you're not going to always get to him, or get off the field or make stops. Michigan didn't do a good job on first and second down of staying out of 3rd and 5. If now Everett goes with maybe a different quarterback on 3rd and 11, 3rd and 9, but now then it's hard for Greg Mattison to call defenses at 3rd and 4. It's either feast or famine. You blitz, now you're in zero coverage or man, or if you sit back, they're going to get it. You line up and play. But I think up front, Michigan left some plays on the field. Few defensive linemen, didn't really stay in the pass rush lane. They weren't able to get to the quarterback, but the defensive backs, let me tell you something, Sam, when we started with the offense, when you start getting beat, same way Devin Gardner kind of started falling apart, defensively as a defensive back or any position, the first thing that goes out the window is your technique once you're losing. First mentally you get shot. Secondly, you're like, forget this, I got to do something. All the coaching goes out the window. Then you don't execute. Then there's a lack of technique. So that's what you saw at cornerback. There were some plays that the one ball I thought was not catchable out of bounds, questionable pass interference. Defensive backs kind of losing their technique down in the red zone. That's what happens when you start getting beat, all right? So when you don't have leadership or somebody back there who can say, hey, fellas, keep it together, line up, stay inside, dog, here comes Fade. When you don't have that, then you don't have a shot. But give them credit.
Yeah, two things to kind of buttress some of your points, Marcus. You talked about the third and shorts. Notre Dame had 1 third down conversion of over 5 yards. 1 on the game. All their other third down conversions were less than 5 yards. So you're absolutely right there. And then when you talk about, I want to contrast that one point you just made with an example of a guy who, as the adversity seemingly mounted, he got better. Now you had JD, Jordan Lewis, get called for that first PI. Maybe it was uncatchable. I don't know, but I can see that call. The second pass interference call was absolute garbage. It was not pass interference. And so you saw them. You talk about the first few series being the game plan and figuring out what you're going to do after that. He came back, and I believe it was the following series, broke up a slant. And Marcus, for the rest of the day, JD was pretty stout. it was almost as if Notre Dame saw at that point. It's like being in a prize fight and the guy getting his eye cut and the aggressor, he keeps hitting that eye. It seems like that's what Michigan saw. I mean, that's what Notre Dame saw in the slot and on the other side on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sam, and that's what I like about JD, man. Jordan got that it factor. He has a short memory. You know, he's been the most consistent corner in the last 8-9 months in this program anyways. I give him a lot of credit. And he's playing with no fear. And those two calls, all it did, he just got him out of his mind and bounced right back. You have to have a short memory nowadays, and I give him a lot of credit. And I give Roy a lot of credit for helping develop that. Jordan wasn't like that last year. And as a matter of fact, I actually support the game plan that Greg Mattison was trying to do. Because when you only give up 50 yards of rushing on 30 attempts, that's pretty good rush defense, okay? That's pretty good, but it's just maybe those 2 yards here, 3 yards there. The problem is he didn't get any negative plays. Mm-hmm. It's not like there was hits in the backfield where they run the ball and they lost 4 yards. But the way Notre Dame was in their offense, man, like some of that zone read up the middle kind of stuff, and they outnumbered us in certain areas on the field, and they had one more hat than we did. I give them credit. Golden was checking out of some plays at the line of scrimmage, lining up. And it's hard to play a 6 or 7 man front and stop the run completely. It just is. I like that Greg Mattison played man to man because that's the one defense that you can line up in and say, listen, I'm not going to let you just sit back here and throw it. You got to beat me. And Golden was able to make the throws. He defeated tight coverage. Technique wasn't always the best. I think our safeties need to step up. You know, I'm not going to lie. I just think Jeremy Clark, left some plays on the field. You know, when things start breaking down, that's when your enforcer shows up. You start annihilating people across the middle, start running people down, and then those receivers don't feel so comfortable just catching pretty balls back there. But listen, let me tell you something. I still support Brady. I support Devin, and I support Greg Mattison because I've seen it with my own eyes. I know what they're trying to do, and they're not far from it. Check it out, too. Here's the thing that people are not really considering. Michigan had this butt whooping coming. You've been squeaking past Notre Dame the past 4 or 5 years. You're playing a chicken dance song. Okay, talking trash about them getting out of the media. Michigan hasn't won beat anybody on the road. Notre Dame's pretty good. They're better than people thought. Let's face it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be. You know?
I hear you. I hear you. And Notre Dame gave them what for? One thing though to point out. Before I ask you, one final question that has nothing to do with Michigan. Marcus, Greg Mattison said, he said, there was a part of this game that I didn't get right. And he said, you lose some players, and you got to have the what ifs down. And he said, I felt like our pressure was fine for the most part. We didn't always bring them down when we had an opportunity. So, he either had some times where he got the ball out quickly, or some times where he said, I thought the coverage would have been tighter. And he said, in retrospect, because we were just getting beat, in coverage, in press, we were just getting beat. So he said, in retrospect, what I think I should have done and what I will do moving forward, he said, hey, maybe instead of having play zone, and instead of having a nickel out there, I'm gonna go with a Sam backer like James Ross or who's played a lot of football here, or go with Royce and do it that way and just play more zone instead of the game plan that they had going into the Notre Dame game.
Yeah, Sam, that makes a lot of sense. And as a coordinator playing base defense sometimes, get some of that on tape. And at least it might slow it down, or even zone blitz, where you bring 5 guys and you drop 3 guys under and 3 deep. I was surprised Greg didn't do a little bit more of that, and you could do that out of nickel or out of base defense. But when the bullets are flying and you start losing, you get in comeback mode. Sometimes we all get a little stuck in what we want to do, but I think that's excellent that Greg noticed that about himself. Maybe somebody brought it to his attention. But play some base defense. But man-to-man defense is hard, and I would have loved to see Jabril Peppers healthy. This would have been a showcase game for him, or at least a game to get his feet wet and introduced to real live college football man-to-man on the big stage to see how he would have done. I know that's all hindsight and water under the bridge, but I think when you start losing a key guy like that, his caliber, things might have been a little bit different because I know his coverage would have been tight. Ray Taylor goes down. Things start happening. And so that's another reason why I think Greg could have switched up and went a little more zone when he didn't have all his guys. His guns wasn't fully loaded.
Right.
But there's no excuse. The guys that were out there, they didn't get it done. But I still believe they could cover, and they were working on it all yesterday. I mean, just correcting their mistakes, man. But, I'm still riding with Michigan. I picked them to win. If I thought they was going to lose, honestly, I would have picked Notre Dame to win.
I know you would have, man. What you say? I'm your homeboy, not a homer. I hear you on that. My last one, Marcus, and I just got to get your take on this. Being in the game, college and pro, and I'm sure you've seen instances like this, like the Ray Rice case, man. Was this just an example of the NFL getting caught with its pants down, or the NFL not thinking this was as serious an issue as it is? And do you think that this will have an impact moving forward in the NFL and beyond?
I think the NFL did get caught with the pants down, and I thought it was done, over with, or at least that's what they thought. And there's always one more in the chamber. It's always one more in the chamber. Expect the unexpected, and sometimes because if the NFL would have known if the NFL would have known that this was going to come all the way public like this, they would have did something about it 7 months ago when it first dropped. But moving forward, I don't think it's going to change, DV, because everybody is going to have to live their own life, and you always say it won't happen to me. Oh, that was terrible. He did this. Oh, woo. But then when it's your turn, and then we'll find out how you handle it if it happens in your individual life, whoever you are. But the NFL is doing a good job of protecting the shield and taking a stand for humanity, and whether they want to do it or not, they're forced to do it. Everybody looks at NFL players as heroes, or if Joe Blow beats up his wife or something happens, oh man, yeah. But if Ray Rice does it, oh, crucify him. So I think that the shield is recognizing that they have a responsibility to men, women, and children, and everyone's looking to them to handle legal issues, morality issues when it comes to their football players. And I think they're cracking down. But they did get caught slipping this time and tried to cover it up. And then that's when it goes to the extreme for the players. Once the NFL tries to cover their own self, then the players suffer. But the players have to take responsibility and ownership for their action. And we all know there's no place for that, for that type of stuff in the world on any level. I don't care who you are. And we all need to learn from it and move forward.
All right, so Marcus, tell folks where they can find Rays of Light, when you'll be on the Big Ten Network, and give us a ray of light about this season, if you will. Can the Wolverines bounce back from this?
Well, I'll tell you this. The harder you fall, the higher you should bounce, especially when you're out here balling. That's the way it goes with Michigan football. They fell hard. I expect them to bounce back. Big Ten championship is still out there. I'll be on the Big Ten Network Saturday. Call it a game, 3:30. I will be the color analyst, and to God be the glory for that.
Man, is this the first one? Is this the first time?
First game, baby.
Man.
So I'm the play. I'm the color guy, Sam. So
started from the bottom. There we go.
Here's the thing. Even when Michigan stinks, they still smell good, and that's why I'm excited to call this game for Miami and Michigan. But then I'll be back on the network next Friday in the studio. But it's my first game, baby.
All right.
Y'all support that. And we'll talk about my books and all that later on.
Well, see, now this will be a game. Ordinarily, Marcus, I wouldn't go back and watch, assuming they bounce back in this contest. Ordinarily, I would go back and watch this game, but I have to go back
Definitely
and watch
this one for sure.
I have to go back and watch this one, man, because my man Ray 29 is in the booth.
Yeah, I'm in the booth, man, taking a lot of notes from Ira when we're doing them high school games and all that type of stuff, man. So it's all coming together, man. Like I said, to God be the glory. Everything is working out the way it's supposed to. I think Angelique is supposed to be doing a story on it, but for me, I'm just staying working out. I'm in the lab, man, breaking down film. I like some of the things Miami does, but the harder you fall, baby, the higher you should bounce, especially when you out here balling. And that's what I told those young boys at Michigan. I'm not gonna beat them up too hard. I'm still supporting Brady and Mattison and Devin Gardner. I say it publicly. I'm riding with them. And Saturday, if they do something that I don't like, I'm going to keep it funky. That was a bad call by Greg. I'm not afraid to say that on TV. But I'm going to do my job, man. I know we running long, but thanks for the platform, fellas.
All right.
And they know the number. They know the email. I'm not selling no books right now. I'm doing football. I'm in the booth. Thank God, man.
All right, Marcus. Congratulations, man. Hell, I'm excited, too. I'm excited for you. Can't wait to see and to hear it. And look,
almost want to stay home just to watch the game on TV, but I think I'm just going to crash the booth instead.
Look, just because and this is the thing that I think Marcus is getting across, just because you support him, that doesn't mean that you won't call out, hey, that was a mistake. That was a mistake, not changing your game plan when some guys go down to injury. That was a mistake, not stretching the football field vertically. You can say that and still be supportive. I think that's what he was getting across. That's what, we get into that all the time here. You don't have to say he's an idiot in your analysis to critique. And I think that's another distinction he was drawing. Anyway, got to get to a break. Back on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, the official voice of University of Michigan Sport.
And caller 7 right now. Call number 7 at 734-998-1050. You win passes to the Bud Light Victor's Lounge. Call number 7, 734-998-1050.